And I have got the study guide open. All right. So list all the phrases that must appear somewhere on the money. And this is it was in the I believe it was the second or third page of um, the Studies Weekly, and it had kind of a chart, and it says that what must appear on the money is liberty, in God we trust, e pluribus unum, United States of America, and of course the value and a date. Okay. Now some coins also have what they call a mint mark, either a P or a D, and most coins are made at the Philadelphia Mint. They don't have any mint mark, but coins that are made in Denver, Colorado, and I don't forget the other one, where the other one is. They have what's called a mint mark, and that tells where it was made. All right. So that is what is required. Required to be on the money is liberty, in God we trust, e pluribus unum, United States of America, the value of the coin, and of course, a date. All right. All right. Is money considered scarce? Why or why not? Well, in my wallet, it certainly is scarce. But yes, money is considered scarce. Um, Money is scarce because there is only a limited amount printed. If they were to, much like what happened to our young government back during the Revolutionary War, if you print too much of it, it becomes worthless because you just have an unlimited amount of it. So they have to print a very limited amount of money so that it holds its value. So that a $5 bill is still worth $5, that a $100 bill is still worth $100. If you have millions and millions and billions and billions and billions of $100 bills around, they're blowing around in the wind, well, then it's just not worth it, but worth anything. But because they only printed a limited amount, then it is considered scarce. And what they actually do is they have a rotation process where they will actually collect older bills and send them to an office that takes and they shred them. They shred the dollar bills and the $5 bills, the $10 bills, $20 bills, $100 bills, and then they actually sell that as kind of a souvenir. Some of you may have seen a souvenir with I've seen like pens and little things you put on your desk with shredded money in it. So once it becomes too old, once it becomes dirty and nasty looking, then they take it out of circulation and they shred it. And then if they take $5 out of circulation, then they'll print another $5 bill to replace it. So it's kind of like a one for one swap. So yes, that is why money is considered scarce. The new government in the United States printed colonials to pay their soldiers. Why did the colonials become worthless? And I just kind of touched on this. The colonials were printed. They just kept printing them. They needed more money, so they kept printing them. They kept printing them and printing them and printing them and printing them. Before you know it, there's colonials floating all around, and everybody had them. So it's kind of like supply and demand. If there is a whole bunch of them out there, well, nobody wants them, so they're actually worthless. So the colonials became worthless because the government just kept printing money. When they printed so much money, they became worthless. All right. So that is why colonials became worthless. Why is money considered to be a medium of exchange? Now we know by reading from this week and from last week, mostly in last week's, that a medium exchange is something that you exchange for a good or a service. Okay, so In the early days, very early days, a medium of exchange might have been a seashell. Their seashells, they didn't have a whole lot, so they took 10 seashells and bought themselves a chicken. That was considered an early medium of exchange. And as things developed, as society became more civilized, more organized, then they found the need to have something that represents money that everybody can use. So they started out with coins, and then later the Chinese developed dollar bills, and they used those as a medium of exchange. So, to answer the question, why is money considered a medium of exchange? Money is considered to be a medium of exchange because it is used all over the world to exchange for goods and services. You can take a $10 bill to Walmart, or you can take a $10 bill anywhere in the country and exchange it for a good or for a service. So that's why it's considered a medium of exchange. Now, the next question asks, could President Obama's face appear on the US coin or bill? Why or why not? And of course, as we read, no, unfortunately, President Obama face cannot appear on money yet, because it has to be somebody that has passed away. And the reason that they do that is because by putting your face on money, that kind of gives you a sense of you are all powerful. You are the most powerful person because you have that your face on money. So they reserve that for only people that have passed away, that have died. Okay, so no, President Obama's face cannot be used on US money because only people who have died are allowed to appear on money. List some examples of bartering. I was reading through Alex's study guide. Alex had some great, he went right into the text, got the ideas out of the text about bartering. Those were great, but anything will do. Here are some examples that I said. There are many examples of bartering, to include trading a baseball card for a Pokemon card, or trading a Barbie doll for a Ken doll. You're taking something and swapping it for another. It could be um, uh, food, swapping it for a service. You could be swapping a service for a house or something like that. Bartering is just another word for trading. All right. Why is money considered recognizable, portable, divisible, and durable? A lot going on in this question. A lot of different parts. So the first one, recognizable. When you see a piece of paper blowing around on the ground and you look down and you see that green colored dye and this distinctive one and the face of the dead president and all that stuff on it, you immediately recognize that as a $1 bill. You know what it is, right? Same thing with a $5 bill, or even a 10 or a $20 bill. You recognize what it is. Coins, you recognize that the copper color coin is a penny. The small one is the dime. The little bit larger one, the little bit thicker one, is the nickel, and the little bit larger than that is a quarter. I mean, if you were blindfolded, you could probably maybe at least identify the quarter and the nickel. You may have a little bit of a struggle between the dime and the penny, but the dime is smaller than the penny, so you should be able to recognize that. So money is recognizable because we all know what it is. We know the difference between a $5 bill and a 25-cent coin. Right now, portable means you can carry it around. You can put it in your wallet. You can put it in your pocketbook. You can put it in your shoe if you want. It's portable. You can easily carry it around. It easily fits into your pocket and wallet and is easy to carry. Divisible, you can divide it up. When you go to the food store and you ask for a candy bar, they say, okay, 75 cents. You give them $1, well, then they easily can give you change to make that up. If something is 79 cents and you pay with $1.50, they can take and they give you a penny, they can give you a dime, they can give you a nickel back, whatever the case may be. It's easily divided up. And then money is durable because it lasts a long time. Durable means strong. It's able to withstand being passed from person to person to person to person. So money is durable because it lasts for a long, long time. All right. Now moving on to our little mini timeline here. Now, of course, this doesn't have all the dates on it, but it has a lot of the key dates on it. So in 1650, the colonists needed money, so they started to print their own. Massachusetts was the first to make their own. So the colonists needed money. They didn't want to use the English money anymore. So they wanted their own money. So in 1650, they began to create their own money. In 1775 to 1783, the government printed paper money called Colonials to pay their soldiers. And of course, we know that what happened with the Colonials, but they did print Colonials in 1775 to 1783. In 1787, the first U.S. coin was produced. So the first U.S. coin was produced in 1787. In 1792, Congress decided that our money will be called dollars. So 1792 is the 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 birth of the dollar, I guess you could say. Okay, that's when we first officially started calling it dollars. In 1861, the government started printing money called greenbacks. That's when we called it greenbacks because of the color. Now, there's something I want you to look at here. So 1650, colonists needed money, so they started to print their own in Massachusetts. And then in 1787, the first US coin was produced. Now, the difference between those two is in 1650, the colonies were printing their own money. The colony of Massachusetts was printing different money than the colony of Pennsylvania. It was all confused. Some of it was worth more over here, some of it was you couldn't spend in this state, and whatever the case may be. So it took them almost 130 years or over 130 years to get to the point where they said, okay, you know what? We need a US coin. All right. And then if you also notice, this is only 4 years after the Revolutionary War was over. All right. So that's the timeline for you. And then in what country was paper money first used? And of course, the answer to that was in China. The Chinese were the first to use paper money. They invented paper money about 2,000 years ago. All right, so that is the study guide. Again, there will be a copy. I believe there already is a copy of it in Google Classroom. So you have a copy of that for yourselves. All right, and you can use that. I highly encourage that you use it for the test tomorrow. All right. All right. Can everybody hear me? Can somebody type in the classroom, make sure that we're still connected? Not seeing anything going on in the chat right now. Here's some money to buy stuff. I'll take the money, Alex. Hello? Anybody out there? Did everybody leave me? Oh, okay. There you go, Oscar. I can't read your writing, Alex. Sorry. There you go, Audrey. All right. All right, let's go ahead and pick up where we left off, and let's continue reading about the one and only Ivan. So if we remember, so really the first part of what we read was really getting to know the friends. Okay, we got to know all of I don't know whether the best thing is to call them friends, but all of the animals and whatnot that are in the circus area, the little area in the treetop mall. So we got introduced to them, and we kind of started to get introduced to the problem a little bit, right? So we are still in the very early stages. All right. All right. So, Stella's trunk. Stella's trunk is a miracle. She can. Okay, guys, let's stop typing because every time you type, I get a message. Stop typing. All right. Stella's trunk. Stella's trunk is a miracle. She can pick up a single peanut with elegant precision, tickle a passing mouse, tap the shoulder of a dozing keeper. Her trunk is remarkable, but still it can't latch the door of her tumble down domain. It can't unlatch the door of her tumble down domain. Circling Stella's legs are long ago scars from the chain she wore as a youth. Her bracelets, she calls them, when she worked at the famous oops, at the famous circus. Stella had to balance on a pedestal for her most difficult trick. One day, she fell off and injured her foot. When she went lame and lagged behind the other elephants, the circus sold her to Mac. Stella's foot has never completely healed. She limps when she walks, and sometimes her foot gets infected when she stands in one place for too long. Last winter, Stella's foot swelled to twice its normal size. She had a fever, and she laid on the damp, cold floor of her domain for 5 days. There, they were very long days. Even now, I'm not completely sure she's better. She never complains, though. So it's hard to know. At the Big Top Mall, no one bothers with iron shackles. A brisky rope tied to a bolt in the floor is all that is required. They think I'm too old to cause trouble, Stella says. Old age, she says, is a powerful disguise. Been 2 days since anyone's come to visit. Mac is in a bad mood. He says we are losing money hand over fist. He says he's going to sell the whole lot of us. When Thelma, a blue and yellow macaw, demands, "Kiss me, big boy," for the third time in 10 minutes, Mac throws a soda can at her. Thelma's wings are clipped so she can't fly, but still she can hop. She leaps aside just in the nick of time. Pucker up, she's. Oops. Oh, I know where I lost my spot. Hold on. Got too many people typing. Pucker up, she says with this shrill whistle. Max stomps to his office and slams the door shut. I wonder if my visitors have grown tired of me. Maybe if I learn a trick or two, it would help. Humans do seem to enjoy watching me eat. Luckily, I am always hungry, and I'm a gifted eater. A silverback must eat 45 pounds of food a day if he wants to stay silverback. 45 pounds of fruit and leaves and seeds and stems and barks and vines and rotten wood. Also, I enjoy the occasional insect. I'm going to try to eat more. Maybe then we will get more visitors. Tomorrow I will eat 50 pounds of food, maybe even 55. That should make Mac happy. I explain my plan to Bob. Ivan, he says, trust me on this one. The problem is not your appetite. He hops onto my chest and licks my chin, checking for leftovers. Bob is a stray, which means he doesn't have a permanent address. He is so speedy, so wily, that mall workers long ago gave up on trying to catch him. Bob can sneak into cracks and crevices like a tracked rat. He lives well off the ends. He lives well off the ends of hot dogs he pulls from the trash. For dessert, he laps up spilled lemonade and splattered ice cream cones. I've tried to share my food with Bob, but he's a picky eater, and he says he prefers to hunt for himself. Bob is tiny, wirely, and fast like Bob is tiny, wiry, and fast like a barking squirrel. He is nut colored and big eared. His tail moves like weeds in the wind, spiraling, dancing. Bob's tail makes me dizzy and confused. It has meaning within meanings, like human words. I am sad, it says. I am happy, it says. Beware, I may be tiny, but my teeth are sharp. Gorillas don't have any use for tails. Our feelings are uncomplicated. Our rumps are unadorned. Bob used to have 3 brothers and 2 sisters. Humans tossed them out of a truck onto a freeway when they were a few weeks old. Bob rolled into a ditch. The others did not. His first night on the highway, Bob slept in the icy mud of the ditch. When he woke up, he was so cold that his legs would not bend for an hour. That night, Bob slept under some dirty hay near the Big Top Mall garbage bins. The following night, Bob found the spot in the corner of my domain where the glass is broken. I dreamed that I'd eaten a furry donut. I woke in the dark. I discovered a tiny puppy snoring on top of my belly. It had been so long since I'd felt the comfort of another's warmth that I wasn't sure what to do. Not that I hadn't had visitors. Mac had been in my domain, of course, and many other keepers had seen my share of rats zip past, and the occasional wayward sparrow had fluttered in through a hole in my ceiling. But they never stayed long. I didn't move all night for fear of waking Bob. Hold on just a second. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording because we don't need all this. There we go. No, I don't want to stop. I guess you can't stop it. All right, no problem. Once I asked Bob why he didn't hold on. A home. Humans, I'd noticed, seem to be irrationally fond of dogs, and I could see why a puppy would be easier to cuddle with than, say, a gorilla. Everywhere is my home, Bob answered. I am a wild beast, my friend, untamed and undaunted. I told Bob he could get work in the shows like Snickers the poodle, who rides Stella. Bob said Snickers sleeps on a pink pillow in Mac's office. He said she eats foul smelling meat from a can. He made a face. His lips curled, revealing tiny needles of teeth. Poodles, he said, are parasites. Mac gives me a fresh crown, a yellow one, and 10 pieces of paper. Time to earn your keep, Picasso, he mutters. I wonder who this Picasso is. Does he have a tire swing like me? Does he ever eat his crowns? I know I have lost my magic, so I try my very best. I clutch the crown and think. I scan my domain. What is yellow? A banana! I'll draw a banana. The paper tears, but only a little. I lean back and Mac picks up the drawing. Another day, another scribble, he says. 1 down, 9 to go. What else is yellow, I wonder, scanning my domain. I draw another banana and then I draw 8 more. 3 visitors are here, a woman, a boy, and a girl. I strut across my domain for them. I dangle from my tire swing. I eat 3 banana peels in a row. The boy spits at my window. The girl throws a handful of pebbles. Sometimes I'm glad there's glass here. After the show, the pebble spitting children come back. I display my impressive teeth. I splash in my filthy pool. I grunt and I hoot and I eat and eat some more. The children pound their pathetic chests. They toss more pebbles. Slimy chimps, I mutter. I throw a me-ball at them. Sometimes I wish the glass were not there. I'm sorry I called those children slimy chimps. My mother would be ashamed of me. Like the spit pebble children, Julia is a child, but that, after all, is not her fault. While her father, George, cleans the mall each night, Julia sits by my domain. She could sit anywhere she wants, by the carousel, in the empty food court, on the bleachers, coated in sawdust. But I'm not bragging when I say that she always chooses to sit with me. I think it's because we both love to draw. Sarah, Julia's mother, used to help clean the mall, but then she got sick and grew pale and stopped. Sarah stopped coming. Every night, Julia offers to help George, and every night he says firmly, "Homework, Julia. The floors will get dirty again." Homework, I have discovered, involves a sharp pencil and a thick book and long sighs. I enjoy chewing pencils. I am sure I would excel at homework. Sometimes Julia dozes off, and sometimes she reads her book, but mostly she draws pictures and talks about her day. I don't know why people talk to me, but they often do. Perhaps it's because they think I can't understand them, or perhaps it's because I can't talk back. Julia likes science and art. She doesn't like Lily Burpee, who teases her because her clothes are old. And she doesn't like Deshaun Williams, who teases her too, but in a nice way. And she would like to be a famous artist when she grows up. Sometimes Julia draws me. I am an elegant fellow in her pictures, with my silver back gleaming like moon on moss. I never look angry the way I do on the faded billboard by the highway. I always look a bit sad, though. I love Julia's pictures of Bob. She draws him flying across the page, a blur of feet and fur. She draws him motionless, peeking out from behind a trash can, or soft hill, or my belly. Sometimes in her drawings, Julia draws Bob wings or lion's mane. Sometimes in her drawings, Julia gives Bob wings or a lion's mane. Once she gave him a tortoise shell. But these things she gave her, but the best thing she ever gave him wasn't a drawing. Julia gave Bob his name. For a long time ago, no one knew what to call Bob. Now and then, a mall worker would try to approach him with a tidbit. "Here, doggy," they'd call, holding a French fry. "Come on, Pooch," they'd say. "How about a piece of sandwich?" But he would always vanish into the shadows before anyone could get too close. One afternoon, Julia decided to draw the little dog curled up in the corner of my domain. First, she watched him for a long time, chewing on her thumbnail. I could tell she was looking at him the way an artist looks at the world when she's trying to understand it. Finally, she grabbed her pencil and set to work. When she was finished, she held up the page. There he was, the tiny big-eared dog. He was smart and cunning, but his gaze was wistful. Under the picture were three bold, confident marks circled in black. I was pretty certain it was a word, even though I couldn't read it. Julia's father peered over her shoulder. "That's him exactly," he said, nodding. He pointed to the circled marks. "I didn't realize his name was Bob," he said. "Me either," said Julia. She smiled. "I had to draw him first." Bob will not let humans touch him. He says their scent upsets his digestion. But even every now and then, I see him sitting at Julia's feet, her fingers moving gently just behind his right ear. Oh. Usually Mac leaves after the last show, but tonight he is in the office working late. When he's done, he stops by my domain and stares at me for a long time while he drinks from a brown bottle. George calls him George joins him, broom in hand, and Mac says the things he always says. How about that game last night? And business has been slow, but it'll get better. You'll see. Don't forget to empty the trash. Mac glances over at the picture Julia is drawing. What are you making? He asks. It's for my mom, Julia says. It's a flying dog. She holds up her drawing, eyeing it critically. She likes airplanes and dogs. Hmm, Mac murmurs, sounding unconvinced. He looks at George. How's the wife doing anyway? About the same, George says. She has good days and bad days. Yeah, don't we all, Max says. Max starts to leave, then pause. He reaches into his pocket, pulls out a crumpled green bill, and presses it into George's hand. Here, Max says, with a shrug, buy the kids some more crowns. Mac is already out the door before George can yell, Thanks! All right, ladies and gentlemen, see how far along, how much did we get done today? So we're on page 51. 51 today. All right, so we will read again on Tuesday, same time, same bat channel. All right. So anybody else got any exciting news? This is the time if you want to type in something in the chat. Anybody? Anybody? How much are we reading? I think I just answered that question, Chrislyn. Anybody? Anybody got anything exciting? Don't forget, when you do the study guide, you don't have to turn the study guide in. I tried returning them to some of you, and you kept turning them in. You're going to need your study guide tomorrow, and if you have turned it in, you don't get access to it. So you're going to need your study guide. So make sure that you just complete the work, and then that way, tomorrow during the test, you can open it, okay? And bye, Chrislyn. See you later. Um, you can open it, and you don't have to get me to turn it back to you. Okay. You have 14 caterpillars on what? On milkweed? Are they monarchs, Kira? Your birthday's in 9 days. Wow. My birthday, let's see, what's today? Today is my birthday is in 48 days, 49 days. I made a mini coding game. Arthur, are you still writing your comic book? You saw Audrey yesterday. Did you run? Coco, my baby bunny, says hi. Brother's birthday is tomorrow. How old's your brother going to be, Jackson? My uncle. Wow, we're going. Well, my stepfather's aunt's great uncle's cousin, third twice removed, his birthday is in 3 weeks too. Your dad bought them? Bought the caterpillars, or Carrie, your dad bought the caterpillars? You're still making your comics? How much more? How much more? I keep waiting for your comic, Arthur. You Emma Fridge? Matthew Emma Fridge. Your brother's 11, huh? So he's got you by what, 2 years? I am a fridge. Cool. Okay, guys. All right. Well, I sure do miss everybody. All right. And I greatly appreciate all the hard work everybody's putting in. Okay. And I really look forward to hopefully getting together at least for a few minutes at the end of the year. Okay. All right, guys. All right. So I need everybody to, if you don't mind, go ahead and leave the chat room so I can close it down and then get back to work. Get back to work. Everybody, get back to work. Yeah, I can imagine, Arthur. You've got such a creative mind. All right, guys. Take care. I'm going to shut the live stream down now.